This video is to help you find teaching strategies for the learning theory of information processing for your standards-based lesson plan. And from the diagram you can tell that information processing is about how information from the outside gets into your brain and gets transferred to long-term memory. So it's a processing of information. So we ask questions like, how much can you memorize? How do you store a memory? Do you ever lose a memory? What's the best way to remember information? And we want to look at your standards-based lesson plan, and I would like you to describe a teaching theory that involves information processing of you trying to get your students to learn something. If you find that the teaching strategy in your lesson plan is missing or lacking details, this is a great chance for you to improve that. After you've chosen a teaching strategy and described it, defend why it works. So when you're thinking about information processing, how do you get your students' attention via their senses? How do you move their information to their working memory and retain it in their working memory, and then move it in their long-term memory and retrieve it from their long-term memory? And how does your teaching strategy support higher order thinking? So use these resources in the text for you to defend your strategy. And so here's an example of that. Notice that it talks about how the information got in, how it got stored temporarily, and how it got into the long-term memory, just like you did with classical and operant conditioning. Then, in step 3, choose a teaching strategy from information processing that you think will help your students learn best. So again, like the last one, behaviorism, there's a lot of terms that go with it. And so you want to look up something that you think is interesting and talk about that, how it would help your students. And then go ahead and incorporate that idea into your standards-based lesson plan. So for this example, meaningful association into writing assignments was a way in which to help move information into the long-term memory. Then the last part, choose something that you think doesn't help students learn. And for example, rote or rehearsal memorization is not a very effective strategy according to the author, and then defends why. Communicate your answers electronically, again using any kind of multimedia if you get tired of writing. And then view a student example is your student standards-based lesson plan like you did in the behaviorism, and then when finished go on to the next section.